All right, I'm sure we can start because of our time. We can no longer wait. Mr. and Mrs. Nakoma, welcome. Good to see you after a long time. Mama Tembo, welcome. Moyo, Pastor A, Mark O'Neill, and Sister Gloria, I welcome you all. I'm so excited. Please allow me to remove my mask, otherwise you may not hear me. I'm so excited about the first class life, and I'm going to quickly take you brief on what we're talking about when it comes to first class life. When we talk about first class life, we are basically trying to reduce the low risk of a life that is useless. We are talking about a life that is far above the average, a life that everyone else desires to live. We have experienced highest levels of sickness, diseases, poverty, and other things. And I'm sure that each and every one of us that is in here would not want to live under such kind of forces, be it a force of sickness, be it a force of poverty, be it a force of limitations. So the first class life is actually there to inspire, it is there to motivate, and it is also there to create a desired life. It's one thing and the other to inspire, it's one thing and the other to motivate, and it's another thing as well to create a desired life. And I want to believe that it's a challenge to a lot of people to be able to create the life that they desire. So I'm sure that in few minutes that we are going to be here, because this is the beginning of something unusual, something big, we are also going to learn on how to create that desired life. All right? We have been inspired to see it, we have been inspired to think of it, we have been inspired to imagine it, but we are coming to a place where we have to create it. Okay? So I'm sure that I have the right people today. And please take note that this is not going to be like a church service where you have to give me your amens. This is a moment where you also have to contribute. I'm going to be asking you questions so that I can be able to flow with my explanation. So please feel at home, feel free to stop me if I'm going too fast and ask any question that you may want to ask. Okay, but before I give you an opportunity to ask questions, let me start by asking you a question. Just think a little outside the box. Just take it easy, just relax, okay? Let's say you receive a free ticket to fly to Dubai. Let's say for 1 week. And this free ticket, you are flying not in an economic class, but in a private jet. I want you to imagine this. Somebody is coming to you and is saying, Moyo, here's a free ticket. You'll be flying to Dubai in a private jet for 1 week on a holiday. No work, nothing. You are booked in a 5-star hotel, and you're also receiving a $10,000 shopping voucher. Would you take that? Would you be excited? Let's say right now, after this season of the coronavirus, the pandemic, somebody just walks before you and say, there you go. Go to Dubai for a week, holiday. Private jet is available. Everything is paid for. That's exciting, right? And you actually tell yourself that I'm sure this is the life that I want to live. Everybody in here wishes, prays, hopes for a better life. Nobody wants to be poor. Nobody wants to be broke. Nobody wants to stay in an uncomfortable house. Nobody wants to experience insufficiency. Everybody wants their bank accounts to be loaded, overflowing. Everybody wants to move from one room to another in the place they stay. That's a desired life, right? And I have decided to call that the first class life, where you wear what you want, where you go out and buy what you want, not buying what your money wants. You know, there's two different things. When you go to a shop, most of the people, when they go to a shop, they're not looking for what they want. They are looking for what their money wants. Okay? Because you know your budget. You know, okay, I've got my 2 rand in the pocket, and if I get into a shop, the first thing I have to check, it is not the quality, but it is the price. So many a times it's so uncomfortable to be controlled by prices, because you will end up being pushed into a downtown shop that you have to go to, or just, you are known as, which one is the best supermarket in South Africa? Which one is the best supermarket in South Africa? Huh? Okay. Have you ever been there? All right. So I'm just trying to make you think outside the box. Let's say you want to go to Woolworths, okay, and buy something there. What talks is the money that you have, right? At times we know that there is a best supermarket that is called Woolies or Woolworth. But have we ever been there? How many times have we been there to buy? Don't we want to be there? We definitely want to be there. But there is something speaking from our bank accounts and from our pocket. We can't afford. But we desire to get there. So that's a first class kind of a life that we want. How do we get there? All right. How do we get there? We definitely want to go there. That's why I said, if somebody walks into the room that you are at and offers you a free ticket to go to Dubai for a holiday, 7 days holiday, and everything is being paid for, you're given a $10,000 voucher, would you take it? Yes, definitely. If it is me, the answer is yes. I will grab it and run and go and enjoy, okay? Because that's the life that I desire to live. Question number 2. You receive visitors from one of the best property agencies in town, holding title deeds in your name, okay? And this title deed is of a double-story building, leg facing, and they say this is yours. Somebody bought it for you. Will you not be excited? Definitely you say, this is it. Think of it that right now, if you want to relax, be it by yourself or with your family or with friends and all that, there are kind of places that comes into your mind, right? You don't just say, okay, I want to relax, so I'm just going to go on my bed and relax. At times you want to drive out and go to Camps Bay. At times you want to drive out and go to Fishwalk. At times you want to go and have a meal in Century City. You want to go to Sea Point. When you get to Sea Point, the different places, you want to look at the water, and somebody comes and says, these are title deeds in your name. Double-story building, it's paid. Definitely you will jump or you panic. People will call 911 and say he is in shock or she is in shock, because she's saying the desired life is right there. Okay. The first class life is a life that was designed for everybody. But there are quite a number of things that needs to be done in order for you and I to live a desired life. Okay? I do not want to move too deep into the religious side, because this is not a church service. But I'll try by all means to remain in my lane so that I can cover both sides. Okay? Let me ask question number 3 before I go on to the next line. You receive a phone call from Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz calls you randomly. They introduce themselves. This is Mercedes-Benz Century city. Am I speaking to so and so? Oh yes. All right, listen here. You have been handpicked from thousands of people. You have been handpicked to be an owner of our latest Mercedes-Benz, be it a GL 200, be it a what, you can name it. And you are being asked to come and get your car. This is Century City, and you look at the number 021 code. Definitely you would think it's a scam in the first place, forgetting that this is your dream. Everybody wants to dream to drive a luxurious car. Everybody. But at times what matters is on how to get to that luxury car. There's so many steps. Some are easy and some are very difficult. And one thing I know for sure is anybody who wants to get there to the first class life can easily get there. But there's quite a number of steps in between that must be taken. All right. Like I said, first class life is a categorical term that is present in the clarification of life insurance risk. But at large, it denotes the low life risks. It stops the duplication of a low life. It denotes the low life. It stops the duplication. You know, many a times we are not running printing companies, right? But we do photocopy lives, eh? The life that your father lived, which is a life of poverty, you are the copy of it. So it's a duplication from this one to this one, from this one to this one. Just like the biblical term that says you are blessed generationally, like from generation to generation. So it's from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It's a duplication of the blessing. So many a times you duplicate the limitation, you duplicate the curse, you duplicate the ignorance. You understand? So when we are talking about the first class life, we are saying we stop the duplication of a low life. You are saying it should end to my brother who has made a choice not to make it. It should end on my father who has made a choice of not making it. It should end on my sister. It should. I do not want to continue with the low life, which means I'm willing to stand and stop the risks of low life. So that's the first life class. And I'm sure everybody's willing, and I'm sure those that pray, your prayer is to say poverty out in the name of Jesus. I think it's 99% or 99.9% of the believer's prayer is to push away poverty, to stop it, because nobody wants poverty. Not even one person can stand and say, poverty, come to my house, I miss you or I need you. It doesn't happen like that. Okay, so I want you to understand that we are all here to make sure that we denote the low life. Full stop. Okay, so the vision thereof is to inspire people, motivate, and create life, like I said. That is the vision. And the mission thereof of the first class life is to make sure that we denote the low life risk. Okay. One common question that is asked in a person who pursues or who is pursuing the first class life. There's one common question. Most of the people in business, most of the people in families, most of the people in church, they have one common question when it comes to the first class life. You have dreamt of it. You have thought of it. You have imagined it. You have imagined yourselves staying in a very beautiful house, lake facing, with a swimming pool, with a tennis court outside, with everything. There is that moment where everybody sits down and says, you know what? I know I'm driving this car, but I see myself driving a better car. I know I'm staying in this house, but I see myself better. I know I'm wearing a labelless, what is it called? A labelless kind of a shirt or trouser or whatever. But I see myself in the future wearing a Gucci. Everybody imagines things that are above the average, things that are right on the spot and right on the point. But one common question is, will I ever make it? Will I make it? Am I going to drive the car? Am I going to have the house? Am I going to get a job? Am I going to live a better life than what I'm living now, which is the first class life? Am I? The answer is definitely a yes, especially to those that have the evidence of the unseen, those that have the hope, the better of tomorrow. The answer remains a yes. But there is something important that you have to understand. Every individual that is under the sun must acknowledge that there is a problem. The minute that you start acknowledging that there is a problem, then definitely the next step that you will take is to work towards the solution. People who do not admit that there is a problem, even if they cannot discover it or identify it, they are people that are found relaxed and they can never solve anything. For instance, if you get into a room like this and you are the only person in the room, when you look around and you tell yourself that there is no problem, you will never find yourself taking a step towards a solution, because you have actually told yourself that there is no problem. Let me ask you a question. Is there no problem in your life? If actually I asked a question like, is there no problem in your life, I would have limited you. Are there no problems in your life? There are problems. The next question will be, is there a solution to that problem? And the answer is great. When you have given yourself a yes as the answer, that there are problems in my life, you must also tell yourself that there are solutions to the problems, even if you cannot pick the problem, even if you cannot tell what exactly the problem is. Have you ever found yourself in a place where you can sense that there is a problem somewhere, but I can't tell what the problem is, but there is a problem, something is wrong somewhere? I'm sure each and every one of us have ever came to that kind of a point where you can tell that there is a problem somewhere, but you can't really name the problem. In business, relationships, family, and others, there is that moment where you can tell that there is a problem, but I can't tell what it is. Why am I losing weight like this? You are not sick. Nothing is, but you're just losing weight. And to you, it is a problem. But you're eating normally. Everything is okay. You don't know what the problem is. But the minute that you admit that there is a problem because I've lost 2 kilos or 3 kilos or 5 kilos or 10 kilos, then your eyes would then be fixed on finding the solution. So you become so careful on each and everything that takes place in your life. So once you see yourself doing that, then definitely you are walking towards a solution. So each and every person that desires to live what is called a first-class life must acknowledge that there is a problem. Please never make a mistake of saying you are the problem, because many people confuse those things. I've seen a lot of people in stress. People, they feel like pinching themselves. They blame, they accuse. Self-accusation, self-blame. Why? Because there is a problem. So if there is a problem, it does not mean that you are the problem. If there is a problem, it does not mean that you are the problem. Let me give a very good example. If there is a problem between me and my wife, It is a problem that is between me and her. She is not the problem, neither am I the problem. So you're not the problem. She is not the problem. The problem is before you. It's not you. So let me help you here. Many of you, what you begin to do is you begin to leave the problem there and point at a person and say you are the problem. So if a person becomes the problem, it's difficult to solve a person. So every time you think of the first class life, you also have to think of peace and freedom. Because in the first class life, there is peace and there is freedom. So once there are quarrels or misunderstandings, then definitely it's no longer a first class kind of a life. And the only way you can get to that is acknowledging that no one is the problem between us, but the problem is within the environment. Pick the problem, address the problem. Okay, so you have to understand that there is a problem, but you are not the problem. The minute that you begin to point at yourself and say, I am the problem, you are finished. Because admitting that you are the problem will finish you. But if you admit that there is a problem in my life, it might be my communication, but it is not me. It's my communication. I always tell people that many times we stress because there is no money in the bank account. So when you don't have money in your bank account, don't stress because it is your bank account that doesn't have money. But you have money. Sometimes we just have to think, like, anyway, I'll pass by there. Let me quickly rush through. So, first class life now, in business, relationship, religious and others, you are dealing with what is called problems versus solution. Problem versus solution. Each and every individual that has ever made it under the sun has made it because of their ability to solve a problem. So you can be peculiar or unique in a relationship, in a business, in a family, or in a marriage by not identifying the problem, because many people are very good in detecting the problem. They are problem detectors, but they are not problem solvers. That's the problem. So the person I love is a person who can detect the problem and solve the problem. So most of the people in relationships, I figured out that they can pick a problem, but they cannot solve the problem. So if they cannot solve the problem, they accuse or they shift the blame. They do what is called the blaming game. So when there is a blaming game, there is no more peace, but there is division and separation. So that's not a first class life. A first class life is being able to tell that there is a problem and name the problem and say, this is the problem. After naming the problem, work towards the solution without blaming yourself or others. Okay, so it is problem versus solution. All right. The reason why you can't run is because there's a problem. You are not the problem. Fix the problem. That's the way to go. Right. There are so many kinds of problems, but I'm going to touch only two. There are so many kinds of problems, but let me only deal with two problems for now. Problem number one. Anyway, let me ask this as a question. Out of every single thing that I've mentioned and everything that I've said, what do you think can fall into the category of problems? What is it that we can pick and say, I think this can be called a problem in a person's life? be it in a business, religious, or family setup. What is it that you can think of? You say, I think this can fall into a category of the kind of problems. Anybody can? Yes? Communication. Definitely. Communication. Yes? Family. Yes, thank you. Somebody else? There are so many problems. Come on. Yay! I think I've got good people here who don't have problems. No problem at all. No problem. Any other things that you can think that can fall under the problem category? Okay. Number one, you've got to understand that what makes you is the physical and the spiritual. Okay? So, whatever problem that happens in your life, it's either physical or spiritual. But now, on the physical side, there is also a name that we can give, which can accommodate all the things that you have just mentioned, communication and other, which is professional. So we have a spiritual problem and we have a professional problem. If you are a counselor, or if you are like me, who have dealt with so many people, you will understand that each and every person that comes to you, they only have problems that are spiritual and problems that are professional. So if you come to me with a spiritual problem, I have to assist you spiritually. But if you come to me with a professional problem, I have to assist you professionally. That's why I said, you have to admit that there is a problem in your life and you are not the problem. After admitting that there is a problem, be able to name the problem. Is the problem professionally, or the problem is spiritually? Many people suffer in businesses because they are not professional. I've seen a lot of people coming to church to be prayed for, to make money. Man of God, prophet, pray for me, I want to make money. How do I pray? I can release grace, I can release favor. You can go. But if you go straight from the prophet's office or from the pastor's office and never pass by a professional office, you make a big mistake and you create another problem. I'm trying to share with you the first class life and how you can get there. Be able to name the problem. Is it a professional problem or it is a spiritual problem? In any setup, business, family, or church, there are problems. In a marriage, there are problems. When you see this one going to bed without saying good night to this one, it's a problem. But you've got to know, is this problem spiritually or it's professionally? If it involves communication, then definitely we have to put the spirit aside. And let's get to professionalism. How do you ask for the money? How do you say good morning? How do you say that? Because some people have passed on the spiritual side, but they failed on the professional side. And some have passed from the professional side, but they failed from the spiritual side. So there must be a well-balanced thing there for you to live at peace. Is your problem a professional problem, or it is a spiritual problem? Like I said, you can come and I will pray for you, and I say go. If your problem is professionally, you have to pass by a professional office. So you balance. You have received favor and grace from a pastor's office, but you have to be taught on how to communicate to get the money. Because many a times, you don't have money, or you not having money, or you not making the money might not be because of the absence of favor, but be the absence of professionalism. You don't have the language. You don't know how to speak to a wealthy woman or a wealthy man in order for them to share their money with you. So your problem now is no longer spiritual, it's now professionalism. You know what? I have a strong feeling as I'm talking to you now that this will change your life. If you properly think of what I've just mentioned in the past few minutes, trust me, it will bring a positive impact in your life. After these sessions, I want you to sit down and think of it. Why is it that every time you open your mouth and speak, somebody gets offended? But deep inside you, you know exactly what you want to say. And your intentions are not to offend anybody. So this is what church folks do. When they say something and people are offended, they don't go to school and learn how to speak. They go into the prayer room. Come on, you will still come out of that prayer room the same. Go to school. Be taught on how to communicate. There are levels of communication depending with class and age. When I speak to my wife, it's a different story. When I speak to a friend, it's a different story. When I speak to children, it's a different story. It has to change. Like I said, look around and say, is there a problem around me? Am I able to name it? Some people are not able to name the problems around them. Then you need somebody who can name the problem for you. But listen to me, this is the most critical area now. If another person names the problem for you, you call that person an enemy. And you never want to see that person again. Think of it in a marital setup. If your husband keeps telling you that the way you talk too much, baby, then definitely in your scalpel up there, you look at him and you say, talk too much. Every time I talk too much, and then that becomes but he is saying it out of love. He's naming the problem for you so that you look for a solution. Because you can never get to a place where you look for a solution to a problem that you have not named. But because you can't name it yourself, let somebody else name the problem for you and let you take a step towards getting the solution. And that's what we do. A pastor's duty, a mentor's duty, is to identify a problem in you and highlight it, write it in capital letters, in bold letters, and you celebrate when he has picked a problem and run look for a solution. Many of you celebrate when you come from the doctor, because the doctor was able to pick all problems in your body. They say, oh, at least, yeah. Come on, what are you talking about? So what makes it a difference when you come to church and the pastor picks a problem in you and highlights it, and you say, that pastor, I don't like him. Oh, my mentor always picks negative things about me. He has never mentioned any. Listen, we know the minute we finish addressing problems, we have come to a place now where we have to encourage you. Okay. So be able to identify the problems. And if you cannot pick problems for yourself, that's why a lot of people love prophets. Because prophets are able to pick problems. Okay? Not all prophets, some prophets are able to pick problems and say, your problem is this, your problem is that. And then you go run, look for the solution. But like I said, it now takes extra wisdom, because some prophets are limited when it comes to wisdom. They are able to pick the problem, but they cannot get you to a solution. So there are different kind of prophets. Mentors, there are other mentors. You see, for you to have a mentor or to become a mentor, you don't really have to be spiritual, but you have to have what is called the foreknowledge. You have to be always ahead so that you can guide and direct and also counsel. It's important. It's important. The life that you want to live, the first class life. Many of you have TVs at home. Whenever you switch on your TV like this, there's some kind of life that you see on TV that you say, "Whoa, that house! Whoa, that car! Oh, that." You can live that life if you want. Everybody who appears to be the rich man in town, the rich woman in town, the driving fancy cars and all that, they started from where some of you are at now. But what they did is, they sat down and they say, what is my problem? What is the problem that is around my life? And then they were able to list down those problems. And they said, from today, we are taking step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 towards solution. And if you start doing that from today, trust me, within 6 months, your life will change. No matter what kind of a problem you might have. It might be a spiritual problem, it might be a professional problem. But the minute you name the problem and begin to take steps towards this solution, trust me, you will see a change. Many people are running to church to look for solutions, which is a good thing. But the biggest problem that church people do, they only want to be told what the problem is, and they don't want to act towards the solution. So they can celebrate a prophecy, they can celebrate a prayer, but they take no action. It is rather better to be taught on how to take a step towards your solution than to be told what your problem is. I'll repeat that again. A person who can tell you what your problem is and not guide you through to the solution is the worst person in life than a person who will say, come, let's go to Century City. When you get to Century City, you discover yourself. He has taken you out of a place of lowness, limitation, and he has taken you up to a place where you can discover yourself and other opportunities. It is not that you cannot do it. It's not that you cannot make it. It's not that it's too late. No, there is never a time that is called too late. Age is not a restriction. Learn to live far above your current circumstances. There are opportunities ahead of you that are waiting for you. But admit that there's a problem somewhere. Name that problem, and if you cannot name the problem, look for a person with sharper eyes who can be able to pick problems and lead you through to the solution. When you are in business, you have to be willing to take risks. There is no business that can stand and survive if the people in there are not risk takers. You got to be willing to sleep outside your house for 2 nights in order for you to bring that 2 million rands. Step out of your comfort zone. Do it differently to attract different results. Take risks. It's called a what? First class life. Am I still moving with you? Am I still moving with you? There is so much that I would want to share with you, but time will not allow us because we have been here for quite some time. And since this is the first day, we can end here. Next week on Saturday, we are meeting again. And I want you to understand that I've dedicated myself to this. And I'm going to give the best so that you can become the best. Before 2020 goes to an end, you attending the first class live sessions with me will change the way by which you do things, will change the way by which you think. It will actually pull you to that place that you desire. You begin to surround and associate yourself with the things of the first class. Even your communication will be of the first class. Have you ever been told by somebody that you talk too much? Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. Have you ever had somebody saying, hey, brother, you talk too much. Sister, you talk too much. Please, take it low. Have you ever had somebody saying that to you? What was the feeling? How did you feel? Definitely you don't feel good when somebody tells you straight into your eyes that you talk too much. You say, hey, what? Me talking too much. You start hating that person. But after today, I want you to try and do it vice versa. When a person comes to you and say you talk too much, instead of hating them, love them and see how far you can go. When a person says you talk too much, just try and press your brakes a little bit and see how it works. Have I just said something? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for being part of today's first class sessions. Your coming has made my day. And I want to make sure that I have you in all the classes that are ahead. Because greater than what you have experienced, had and seen today is what is ahead. So get ready and please don't skip any of these classes, because we'll be coming with different kind of topics to discuss on. And for all my students in classes, you are allowed to raise a topic by which you need understanding, be it from a spiritual perspective, business perspective, or a family point of view, and then we can tackle it through. But before I close, let me give an opportunity for questions. You might have a question concerning areas that I have highlighted or any other areas. I will give 3 to 5 minutes so that at least we can go through the questions if you do have some. Anybody with a question? Questions? In most cases, if you want to move from an ordinary life into a new life, you've got to be able to come up with quite a number of questions. If you cannot come up with questions, trust me, you cannot attract answers. Any questions? Come on, any questions? All right, today, okay, yes, Mr. Jacob.
Say you're trying to run a business,
Uh-huh.
putting everything that you can in that business, and it's not moving forward. How do you know if it's spiritual or if it's on the physical side?
From a business perspective, if there is evidence of the business contact from a professional level, then definitely you will know that the problem is not the professional side. Okay? If it is a spiritual problem in a business, you cannot detect it by any given evidence, but you can follow through cycles. Okay? If you have a spiritual a problem in a business, you can see it by, I'll give you an example. Every time you want to go to work in your business, you feel drained. You feel like somebody's sucking energy from you. It's a physical feeling. Your conscience tells you that you're not going anywhere. There's some kind of discouragement, a self-discouragement within you. Then you know that there is a spiritual challenge. So definitely your results there are going to be determined with your, okay? So if you have studied in that area, then definitely you are qualified, you're professional, and if you follow the required rules and regulation of that business, then definitely it's okay on the professional side. If your marketing is good, everything, you put a tick, you say, okay, my marketing is good. My standards are good. Everything is good. Quality-wise, it's good. Then definitely you look at the other side and say, what is the feeling? Do I have a driving spirit within me? Every time when I wake up, do I feel energetic to go there? If I don't, and within the course of the day, if I feel drained and I feel discouraged and all, then definitely it's a spiritual thing. So I've tried to show you how you can pick that there is a spirit that is affecting you in business. After looking at all your paperwork and say, I've done my stock tech, my costings as well, quality control, everything is okay. So definitely there is no problem in that area. It's not a professional area, but a spiritual side. Okay. Did I answer you right? I've just tried to. So if you're in business, that's that. And also, you can also pick by remaining on the same position forever and ever. After looking at all your paperwork, quality standards, and realize that, okay, I'm here forever. No growth, nothing. No new contacts, no new deals and all that. I'm just stuck on one, but I'm doing everything. I've changed the way I do my things, and everything is qualifies me professionally. Then you know that, okay, there is a man standing in between who is an unseen man. Then that's when you then have to look for a problem detector, which is a spiritual problem detector. That's why many people then go to a prophet. Who is a real prophet? Not a prophet by word of knowledge, a prophet by a prophet by prophecy. All right. I'm sure I have answered that one, right? Okay. Anybody else with a question? Yes? Mm-hmm.
But like this property is not just like, it is yours, but because of tradition, family tradition, would it be like, so now you want to do your business, but you need to carry this over to your family. Would it be disrespectful if it's not in line with what they want to you, what God wants you to say? It's not just like, how can I say, you have a father, so that person is working on the property, and
Mm-hmm.
But that can now be run with business because it's key because spiritually being affected. Because God is showing you need to do something for me and for others. But they are not in the picture. It'll be disrespectful for me, like go ahead on business. Even if it's going to affect them for others also.
Mm-hmm.
Because my heart is telling me the family is not the most important people, but like you say, some people say to speak too much.
Then definitely what you need to fix from there is the foundation. And that has to be professionally addressed because it involves the family that is not in line with your vision and your passion. So you have to address it professionally, sit with your family and put a line and say, when it comes to what I do, my desires, my passion, this is the line. If you cannot draw that line professionally, then definitely you continue being affected. So you cannot start addressing a spirit from that point, because if you make a mistake of trying to address it spiritually, it remains the same because your family remains your family. They will never give space up to until you draw a line. You tell them that this is how far you can go, and that requires professionalism. Okay, that's all you can do. Any other questions? Great. Because of our time, let's call it a day. Thank you once again for being part of the first day move. Next week on Saturday, let's meet again. Please note, you are allowed to invite anybody. These classes are not religiously based. Okay, I want you to understand that this is not religiously based, but this is an opportunity, this is an environment created for those that desire to make it in life. Okay, be it professionally, in business, be it in family setups, be it religiously, because we cover all areas. We are unlimited. Okay, so you invite a friend, bring anybody, bring anyone, Muslim, Hindu, bring anybody. Okay. And from next week on Saturday, registration will be compulsory. Okay? So please, there is a WhatsApp group that we have already created. We are going to share the link so that if you have a friend that you are inviting, you share the link with them. As soon as they subscribe, they register, then definitely they become part of that WhatsApp group, and we'll be telling you where we'll be meeting, okay? Whether here, whether in a different venue, because we are meant to be flexible so that this whole thing can be enjoyable. Okay. Am I seeing you next week on Saturday? The answer is yes. May God continue blessing you. May you prosper in everything that you do, and may everything be well with you. For today, we end here.